The narrative that we hear all the time is like, you've moved on, you found something new. And when you think of something as like, oh, falling in love again, like you have a happy ending, you have a happy ending to this story, that means you have a new beginning, right? And that means that this part of your life, this has to be left behind. Like that is a book you've closed, this is one you will open. And you don't want to do that. It feels really hard to do that. But you're allowed to miss what you had and still love what you have. You are allowed that. You are allowed to be experiencing intense grief and bring that into to falling in love. And one does not negate the other. One does not replace the other. I'm Nora McInerny. I'm a wife, a widow, a mom, and a stepmom, and an author. I am married to Matthew, and together we have like a Brady Bunch of 4 children. Before anything happened to me, I was like, that is just so sad, and that happens to other people. I truly felt, and in my life was so charmed, so charmed. I'd not really experienced anything hard. I had pity for people. I didn't have empathy for people. I just did not. I just did not. Before I was like, ugh, I feel really bad for them. Like, I feel really uncomfortable, and I'd love to change the subject, if you wouldn't mind. You know, like I could not sit with other people's suffering in any way. I just assumed that those were things that happened to other people. Even when Aaron had his brain tumor, I was like, well, it's just a brain tumor. Like, until they open you up and prove to me it's cancer, it's not. Like, it's not. Because you don't get brain cancer when you're 32 and like a really nice person. You know, you just don't. Oh man, Aaron was magic. He was just the kind of person who made everyone feel like they were cool and they were part of something. And he was so good at that, at like making you feel like you were special and you belonged somewhere. Aaron and I started dating in 2010. A year after our first date, he had a seizure at work and he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And he had brain surgery and they told us it was brain cancer, and we got married 2 weeks after that in December 2011. His brain tumor came back again in December 2012 when I was 8 months pregnant. And Ralph was born a month later after that second brain surgery. And Aaron died when Ralph was 22 months old in 2014, November 2014. You say, until death parts us, or until death do us part, but truly it does not feel like your marriage ends just because somebody dies, you know? It doesn't. When Aaron was alive, a woman that I know whose husband also had just recently died of brain cancer, it had been a couple months, she texted me and said, you know, I'm going on a date. And I was like, what? You know, and I like told Aaron, he was like, why are you judging her? Like, you don't know how that feels. Like, your husband's alive. And I was like, okay, but I mean, I like wouldn't do it. He was like, well, you will, you know? He's like, you are going to. Love is like a worthy pursuit for us all to strive towards. We all can acknowledge that, and yet I would begrudge a person for wanting it and wanting that again. What is more affirming to the love you have for somebody than saying, I'm gonna try that again? Matthew is wonderful. Matthew is not like Aaron, except that I think that they would have been friends. But Matthew is just the sweetest, most genuine, good-hearted, fair, considerate person that I've ever met. Aaron died November 2014, and Matthew and I met November 2015. He and Aaron are so different, but falling in love with them was so similar, where it was just like, you. Like, oh, it's you. I pick you. And you pick me, and so easy. It's like so easy to be with you and be around you, and everything is better if you're just here. I didn't really grieve Aaron for a year, which is when I was meeting Matthew. So I had this simultaneous feeling of like really having that grief hit me, and the gravity of that loss hit me, while I was also experiencing that magic levitation of falling in love. So Matthew had a real treat, you know? Matthew was like, wow, this is so fun, and also you're crying. Tell me more about that. You have the thrill of falling in love, and the guilt of falling in love, and the insecurity that you've done the wrong thing, that you've somehow broken the whole world by being happy or being okay-ish again. After a year, you kind of get the sense that people want it to be over. They want your grief to be over. They want the sad thing to be over. But they also, I had the sense that nobody wanted me to be too happy yet. It was too much to be devastated over Aaron. It was likewise too much to be happy with Matthew. And in reality, I was both. I will always be in love with Aaron, and I'm deeply in love with Matthew. And before, if I had heard somebody say that, it would really bother me. I would be like, no, you must burn forever for one man only, for one person. How dare you? And if I were the dying person, I probably would have been like, Aaron, never fall in love again. Like, I'll haunt you. But they're not in competition. They're not in competition in having this flame for Aaron and this one for Matthew. Like, it just burns brighter. The most important thing that I've learned is that I'm not supposed to be working for or waiting for a happy ending. I'm not supposed to be waiting for anything to be over or waiting to start anything. And I'm not supposed to be just happy, and I'm not supposed to be just sad either. Our hearts are bigger than we think they are, and our minds are stronger than we think they are, and that life is harder than we think it is. And even when it's super hard, it's also better than we thought it could be.
Hello Today fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.